Hey guys, Steven here from my PLC training, and I've got another video today to help you become a confident PLC programmer. So if you've been working in the industry for a while as an electrician or maybe a maintenance tech or possibly an engineer, and you've been meaning to learn PLC programming but keep putting it off because it feels like learning to code from scratch, well, then this video is for you. Let's not put it off any longer. Let's get into this. Here's what I want you to know even before we open up the software. You already know more than you think. If you've been an electrician, a tech, or an engineer for 7 years, 10 years, you know a lot of what you already need to know to program PLCs. If you understand how electrical circuits work, especially DC circuits, the series versus parallel, which direction the current flows, you already understand the logic behind a basic PLC ladder logic program. So we're just going to translate that into a language that the PLC understands. So by the end of this video, you'll have a working PLC program running in Studio 5000, assuming you've got access to the software. And we're going to be doing it with the emulator, so no physical PLC hardware required. Again, if you don't have access to the software, check out myplctraining.com. In our programs, we do give you access to the software. If you do have access and you've got either the emulator or a physical PLC that you can connect to with Studio 5000, you can follow along in this video. Again, my name is Steven Gates. I've spent 10 years in controls and automation working as an electrical engineer and retired from that about 5 years ago to go full-time in helping people learn PLCs and automation and advance their careers. I've helped over 2,000 people, electricians, techs, engineers, learn PLC programming, and many people actually get a career doing it. So let's get into this video now, how to program a PLC. So Studio 5000 Logix Designer is Rockwell Automation software for programming PLCs. Now, Studio 5000 actually has like a few different softwares under it, including Logix Emulate, which this basically simulates a PLC running on your computer, and then also Logix View Designer. So it's basically an HMI software. So there's at least those three software packages under the Studio 5000 brand, if you will. But Logix Designer is the PLC programming one. So this is what's used to program the Compact Logix, Control Logix product lines. It used to be known as RS Logix 5000, but is now Studio 5000 Logix Designer. So these PLCs, Control Logix, Compact Logix, are the most widely used PLCs in North America today, as of recording this video. So you definitely want to learn this platform if you want to get into controls and automation. So if you're working in a manufacturing plant, food and beverage facility, an oil and gas operation, there's a good chance that you've already got an Allen Bradley PLC with Studio 5000 programming running in that plant. Again, learning this software puts you directly in line for roles that are hiring around that. So we're going to use the Studio 5000 emulator, as I said, and this means we don't have to use any hardware. Okay, so this takes the place of our PLC hardware. Same basic experience overall without the hardware cost and complexity there. All right, so once you've got Studio 5000 open here, this kind of splash screen, and you've got Logix Emulate open, let's go ahead and create a new project in Studio 5000. So we'll click that. And then we are going to go to the bottom here and choose Logix Emulate Controller and choose the only option there. And we can call this anything. We'll just call it First Project. Click Next. And then you can choose your version. Right now I'm going to choose version 34. And you can choose the size of the chassis that the controller is in. So this is how many slots it has. We'll go with the default of 7 and leave the controller in slot 0, which is generally where you're going to find the controller in today's systems, and we'll click Finish. Okay, so now that is building, and we will have Studio 5000 open up here in a minute. So while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and add a controller to our Logix Emulate chassis. So this is actually a 16-slot chassis, but it does not need to match the chassis in your Logix Designer project. If you're working with a real PLC, it does need to match, but we're using the emulator, so it doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to add a controller. Think of adding a physical controller in the slot at this point, although we are just doing it with software at this point. Okay, so then it gives us an option to choose, and we're just going to go with the controller here. Again, leave it in slot 0, click OK. And we're going to leave everything in defaults and just make sure the version matches the version we set up for a Logix Designer project. So we'll leave that at version 34. Click Next, click Finish. All right, so that's coming up at the same time as our Logix Designer project is coming up here. And I'll make myself smaller so I don't block out everything on our screen here. Now you've got your project open. On the left side is our controller organizer. Now, this looks like a lot of things, but this is actually less than a lot of PLC brands. So it doesn't take that long to go through and understand each thing here. So we're going to not cover everything in this list, but just kind of the main things that you'll typically use. So first, let's start with the tasks. Okay, this is where your logic lives, and it's kind of a file structure or like a folder structure. You get your big folder and then a subfolder and then a subfolder and a subfolder. It's helpful for organizing. There's more to it than that. These do function differently. They're not just folders, but you can think of it like, drilling down into a Windows folder. So by default, you've got your main task and your main program, your main routine. So we'll double click this main routine, and you can see we've got the beginnings of a ladder logic editor. And hopefully this is, where things start to look familiar. Okay, so this is where the electrician in you should start to be able to connect the dots. A ladder diagram in a PLC works exactly like an electrical circuit diagram. It's just rotated 90 degrees, unless you might have your electrical circuits actually oriented like this. Some of them are. The left vertical rail here is your power supply, and the right vertical rail is your return or your DC negative. So DC positive, DC negative. Current flows left to right across each rung. So we've only got one rung here, but you can see, if you had multiple rungs, it would go left to right, each rung one at a time. Okay, so if the rung has continuity, so there's a circuit that's made, then whatever is at the end of the rung will turn on. The output will energize, for example. And that's basically it. That is the core of ladder logic. So we will actually put some basic instructions on here to show that. And first, let me get rid of some of these extra rungs. Okay, so I've deleted those. And let's look at what it would look like to have like a normally open contact, a normally closed contact, and a relay coil that you're energizing. So when this is true and this is true, it is going to make this true. So in the PLC world, these normally open contacts are called XIC, or examine if open. Examine if closed. And these ones are called examine if open. So they're the normally closed contact. So examine them if they open. So this one in its resting state is going to be open. This one in its resting state is going to be closed. So the circuit this portion will be true, but this portion would not be true in its resting state. And the load at the end, this again is like our relay coil. This could be an output that controls a light, a solenoid, a motor, a conveyor, really any machine that is controlled by an on or off signal could be addressed to this output and turned on whenever it goes true. So let's, we've got this XIO or XIC here and XIO, or our normally open and our normally closed. And let's go ahead and add this as a start push button. This is kind of the classic example here. I'm going to change the scope to first project, which just means it's a controller scope tag. We'll get into that in another video. Now we create this, and now we've got this tag called start PB. Now, usually it's best to make it a little more easy to read with some capitalization as well. And then we will make this a stop push button, call it stop PB. You right click, you click new to create a new tag, and we'll leave everything at defaults and create. And then lastly, we'll call this motor starter, and we will click new and we'll create that. And now we've got a basic ladder routine here. Now, As an electrician or a technician, you've probably seen what is called a seal-in circuit. Sometimes it's called a latching circuit. And basically what this does is allows you to only have to push that start push button for a second, and when you release it, it stays latched in or stays on. So the way we do that is we use this motor starter tag, the same tag. And if you were working with a physical circuit, basically you'd be using a contact off of the relay that you're energizing. So you energize that coil, you use a contact off that same relay to seal in the circuit so it stays sealed in until you're ready to break that circuit. Okay, and then so when this is pressed, this should turn it on. This will latch it in, and it will stay latched in until the push button is pressed, and we will simulate that once we go online here. Okay, simple enough. Let's go ahead and download this to the emulator. We're going to go to Communications, and we'll go to Who Active, and we are going to bring up the Communications window here. So it's going to look something like this. There's different ways to connect to PLCs. You could connect over Ethernet or USB or like a virtual backplane when you're dealing with an emulator, which is what we're going to do now. So I just chose this backplane one, and you can see the Logix Emulate controller here in slot 0. That's the one I want. So I'm going to click download to that guy, and we'll get kind of a warning prompt here to make sure that's what we want to do, which, as a side note, you don't want to download to a real PLC unless you really know what you're doing and you're prepared for that PLC to stop doing whatever it was doing. So on a live system, this would be everybody knows this is about to happen. Your system is offline. It's kind of a big deal. So always be careful when downloading. Okay, we click download, and now this progress bar will go from left to right. Okay, now the download completed. You can see 0 errors, 0 warnings. And also notice up here, we've got a green light that says controller OK. And we've got this kind of teal light that says it's in remote program mode. So what we want to do is put this in remote run mode so that we can actually run some logic and see how it works. Okay, so we click run mode and change controller to remote run. Click yes. All right, so now when we see these green bars here on the rails of the ladder, that means this routine is running. It's in the PLC, it's live. And again, our PLC in this case is this Logix Emulate controller, but this will look exactly the same with a real physical ControlLogix or CompactLogix if you were online with it. Okay, so what we're going to do real simply is I am going to turn on this start push button. Now, I don't have any physical push button wired up in this case. So normally if that was the case, when I pushed it, this would turn green or turn to 1. What we can do instead of that is actually just toggle it on. So when you right click, you can see there's the option to toggle bit. So that's what we're going to do. Before I do that, I'm going to explain what you're going to see, just so we're clear. When I toggle this on, this stop push button is already off. You can see the value is 0, which makes this normally closed contact or XIO true. Okay, so the instruction, ladder logic instruction is true, even though the underlying tag is 0. And so that's the beauty of these, is basically you can flip it to be the opposite of whatever's happening. So if the button is pushed, you can turn it off. If the button is not pushed, you can turn it on. So that's very useful in some cases like this. All right, so let's go ahead and toggle this. Again, we should see the motor starter turn on, and this also latch it in even when we release the start push button. So here we go, toggle that bit. Okay, so we've got a true path here all the way to the motor starter, so now it is on. Now I'm going to toggle this off. Now we no longer have a true or energized path through the start push button, but we do have this latched in path through the motor starter contact. Okay, so there we've got a real ladder logic program downloaded into this controller, tested, and if we want to stop it, we toggle this bit. It interrupts the flow here to the motor starter, And when we release the push button, it still remains off because this cannot turn on by itself until this turns on. So we got a perfect little latching circuit that when its start push button is pushed and released, or even before it's released, it turns on the motor. When the stop push button is pushed, it stops the motor, and you can just go back and forth between start and stop, whatever you need to do. All right, so if you were able to follow along either with Studio 5000 or some other PLC software, you just ran a tool that a lot of people in your position have been avoiding for years, or maybe you've been avoiding it because it felt too intimidating or too technical or too far from what you know. But we did this in 15 minutes. And this is how every PLC programmer starts, with one rung, kind of skipping over a lot of the little details maybe in this controller organizer, just setting up a rung, loading it in a PLC or an emulator, and testing toggling bits on and off or pushing buttons. So this is how you start. From here, the path is clear. You need to learn the instructions. You need to get confident with the software. Now, maybe there's some foundational elements of PLCs and automation that you need to go into to build up a little more as well, which is something we always recommend our students do. But really, this is the beginning of what it takes to program PLCs. So eventually, you'll learn how to connect the logic to inputs and outputs, build more complex sequences. And before you know it, you've got a skill that's in demand at every plant and facility in North America and really the world. And that is, you take your electrical skills or your maintenance troubleshooting skills or your engineering skills, and you pair them and your experience that hopefully you have for 10 years or more, and you pair that with PLC programming knowledge and skills, and this is a very valuable combo. So controls technicians, PLC programmers, automation engineers, these are the roles paying 80, 90, 100,000 and way above in some cases. And people filling those roles started out exactly where you are right now. So if you want a structured path to get there faster to those controls and automation roles, you want a full training program with ISET accredited courses on PLCs, HMIs, drives, and you want coaching from our team to make sure that you are building your programs correctly so you can have a portfolio of projects to demo to an employer. And you want one-on-one career coaching help to help you get your resume ready, your LinkedIn ready, and actually land interviews, prep for those interviews, and negotiate compensation. Then you want to check out the Confident PLC Programmer Accelerated, which is the program that we put together. There's a link in the comments. There really is no other program like this on the planet right now. So definitely the way to go if you're looking to get into controls and automation. And again, these are the courses and things that we've used to help 2,000 plus, it's probably 4,000 at this point, learn PLCs and automation. And I don't know everyone's story of those 2,000 to 4,000, but we have many people that we've helped actually not just learn the skills, but get a role in controls and automation. So you can keep learning on your own. There's lots of valuable videos on our YouTube and other YouTube channels here. But if you really are serious about this and you want to accelerate the process and get that automation and controls role ASAP, check out the accelerated program. Link is in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.